In this video, I'll show you how to do 2-layer 3D puff embroidery. Alright, so I just wanted to jump in here and just go over the design before we load it in the machine. This is broken down into the 3 steps. The fill, the first layer of 3D, and the second layer of 3D puff. So the machine's going to stitch out this tatami layer, then it's going to stop, and we're going to load our first layer of foam. Once this part's completed, then it's going to stop again, and then we'll load our second layer of foam with the finishing second layer of 3D puff. Now I'll just go over a couple of the quick settings here, just kind of rules of thumb for 3D embroidery in general. You never want to have any open ends, or you want to have all your ends capped as indicated here. The machine's going to go side to side and finish here. Because if you have any open ends, your foam's going to end up sticking out in places, and that's not what you want to do. All of the stitches here are going to be satin stitches with center run underlays. And I have a manual spacing of 0.18 millimeter. Just going to give it a really nice tight stitch and allow the needle to cut the foam as it's stitching. So when we go to remove the foam, we have a nice clean layer. And once we put all this together, I'll show you what the design looks like when we put it together. So just to kind of go over it again, so we're going to stitch the green portion first, then the black, and then the red. So that's going to be our design here. Now let's jump into the machine and load it up. Alright, so we're going to load our design from a USB flash drive. I'm going to select the cap attachment. Scroll down until I find the design here. Sorry, it's a long list here. Going to select our 2-layer 3D puff design. Give it a design number. Optimize. And design parts so we can see each part and each color assignment we need to assign. So we're going to assign it for green. And then black, which is needle number 2. And black again. Then we're going to go in and assign the stops so the machine stops each time we have to add our layers of foam. So we're going to add that for these 2 stops here. Going to accept the stop table. Optimize with those values. Rotate the design because the hat goes in upside down. And accept the loaded design here. And now we're ready to load the hat and trace our design and get stitching. Alright, so now that we have our design loaded, we're going to go ahead and load the cap onto the cap driver. For this design, we'll be using a Richardson 168 style flat bill cap. So we'll go ahead and go over to the machine and load the cap on. Head over here and give it a trace. Make sure our needle is centered into the cap. Alright. And now we'll go ahead and start our design. Alright, so now we have the hat off the machine, and the most rewarding part of any puff job is peeling away the foam. Alright, so to help remove some of the pieces that may be left behind, I'm going to be using this 3D Puff Pro tool. It's specially designed to be able to get stuff out of tight areas and tuck in areas that you might need to be tucked in, like some of the foam sticking out. You're going to want to use this in coordination with a heat gun. Some people use a lighter. I prefer using a heat gun. The one I use is this Wagner variable temp and speed. Sits up on its own. I'll have it linked in the description below if you wanted to get it for yourself. But we'll just turn this on. We'll just give it a quick run through. Kind of shrink up the foam. You don't want to do it for too long or you're going to end up melting the foam or the thread. So once you have that done there, you just want to tuck in any pieces of foam that are remaining sticking out, but I think we're looking pretty good on this one.